About a year ago, my life changed forever when I bought myself a pepper grinder called a pepper cannon. It turns out this is the best pepper grinder since Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers in 1813. Actually, it's the best pepper grinder in the history of pepper grinders. And in case you're wondering exactly what the history of pepper grinders is, the earliest known pepper grinder dates to King Henry VIII's time. 1545 to be precise, which they know because they found one in the wreck of the Mary Rose. I digress. This is one of those gadgets which gives you a little endorphin hit every time you use it, delivering such a satisfying crunch of pepper that you find yourself looking beyond the obvious peppering opportunities like smoked salmon, scrambled eggs, steak, mashed potato, and chuck it on just about anything. Fruit salad, even cornflakes. Then again, perhaps not. Anyway, I was beyond excited when I heard that the company behind the pepper cannon had brought out the new salt cannon, and the grinding guru behind it, Cleve Oyness, sent me one to review. So is the salt cannon here as good as its brother? Let's find out. The salt cannon is packaged in the same military-looking outer box as the pepper cannon. Once you've blown that up, you'll find there's a white box, inside which lies the salt cannon. And here we go. Here it is. Now I'd love to feign some surprise when I marvel at the beautiful engineering, but it's exactly the same as the pepper cannon here. It's got the same solid build and the same very clever cap on the top, which just pops off in one move, making it very easy to refill. It's got the same cap on the bottom here, which is apparently so that you can add seasoning after handling your meat. I never handle my meat before grinding, so that's just not a problem for me. The alternative, which I find much more useful, is to take the rubber ring off the base here and then use it as a stand. So let's see how well this thing performs. First of all, I'm going to fill it with some pink Himalayan salt that I found in the supermarket. Now here's a product that's a triumph of marketing over intelligence. I mean, really, can anyone tell whether the salt they're eating came from the Himalayas or from the marshes of Benfleet and Southend in Essex? Do you ever hear anyone compliment the chef on their choice of salt? Oh my gosh, do I taste a little Himalayan pink in the chicken casserole? I'm guessing not. Now, as far as performance goes, I think we're looking for something slightly different from a salt grinder than a pepper grinder. What I mean is that hardly a day seems to go by without yet another media scare story about how you're 50% more likely to have a coronary if you eat too much salt. Problem is, 50% more likely than what? 50% more likely than a newborn baby? I could live with that. Or 50% more likely than a chain-smoking octogenarian with kidney failure? And if the latter, what does it actually mean? If I add 1 grind of salt to my scrambled eggs in the morning, am I lining myself up for a stroke before tea time, or next month, or in 5 years, or what? Still, I think conventional wisdom suggests we probably should add less salt to our food rather than more. So unlike with the pepper cannon here, where I'm looking for a barrage of pepper, I'm looking for the salt cannon to deliver the most amount of flavour from the least amount of salt. My theory, and this is by no means backed up with any science, is that the finer the grind of salt, the more of it will touch your taste buds and therefore the less you'll use. I don't know if that's actually true, but it certainly seems plausible to me that you'll swallow less finely ground salt than if you cover your food in cracked cocaine-sized rocks. So let's see. First of all, I'm going to tip half of my Himalayan pink from the cheapo grinder it came in into my new salt cannon. There we go, that's about half. And now we'll see how the grinds compare. Just get those out of the way, and I've got some black plastic sheeting so that we can see what's going on. Now, to adjust the coarseness on the salt cannon, it's exactly the same as the pepper cannon. You just turn the dial on the base clockwise as far as it'll go, and then turn it counterclockwise until you get the desired level of coarseness. But the thing is, all I want is the very finest grind I can get out of this thing. So let's see how fine it'll go. I'll just make sure that's tightened right up. There we go. Wow. Gosh, it's almost like flour. That really is very, very fine. Let's see how it compares with the grinder that the salt originally came in. Oh, gosh. Well, that is coarser. Quite a bit coarser, actually. Now, the salt cannon will, of course, grind coarser still, but I'm not quite sure why you would want that, unless maybe you've got a low blood pressure problem. But look, let's have a look. I'll just undo that, maybe 10 clicks. Yeah, look at that. I think you need a defibrillator installed in your house before you use the salt cannon on that setting. When I reviewed the pepper cannon, lots of people commented about the price. At $199, they're not what you would call cheap. But that's missing the point. These things are so well made, they'll last for generations. So you're not just buying a grinder, you're buying an heirloom. What's more, they can deliver so much seasoning in one twist that you'll never suffer repetitive strain injury while you're seasoning your mashed potato. And you can set the coarseness of the grind with an almost molecular level of accuracy. That said, I do think that the pepper cannon offers slightly better value for money than the salt cannon, largely because it delivers so much pepper in one satisfying twist. If I set the salt cannon to throw out as much salt, and if you believe the newspapers, I'd probably be dead before you could say transient ischemic attack. Because of that, there's less of a difference between the salt cannon and cheaper alternatives. I mean, the salt cannon does seem to grind that much finer, but grinding fine salt doesn't give me quite the same endorphin hit as the blast of pepper that comes out of the pepper cannon. So really, for me, the main reason for buying a salt cannon is to complete the set. It's Batman's Robin, or Tom's Jerry, or Thelma's Louise. If you know anyone who likes a good grind, you might like to share this film with them. Otherwise, till the next time, I've been Arlo Guthrie. Bye-bye.